Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Wednesday, the 15th of November. Good to have you on board. Part of the Believe Podcast Network and presented, as always, by our title sponsor, everything, ZASLOW Show 2.0. Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. Shout out to my man, Mark Anidjar. He's apparently going to set me up with a parking pass for the Dolphins this Sunday. I told you, I'm trying to go to the game. I'm trying to get a parking pass. And my man, Mark Anidjar, steps up to the plate. It's going to set me up. So I'm looking forward to seeing him then this weekend as well. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend also. I already told you, got a little pregame tailgate kind of deal again with Johnny Cuba. I'm going to make an appearance on the States Tranquilo podcast. I'll let you guys know on Sunday morning where we're going to be. Probably West Orange, but I'll let you know exactly where we're going to be. So you come on by, have some Johnny Cubas. But of course, if you're dealing with a personal injury, Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. And I got to tell you guys, there's so much action going on right now. You got the basketball, college basketball is going on as well. Bet Online remains your top spot for all your live betting action and contests. We got the NFL, college football, UFC, NHL, all in full swing. Bet Online, your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. All the hoops betting action along with every sport available at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to the Bet Online today. Remember, use the promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. I'm in a great mood today. Once again, we got the double dip, baby. You get the double dip when the Heat and the Panthers win on the same night. Double dip, so much better than double dick punch. That's when both teams lose, when both of them win. That's the double dip. We all love the double dip. And you're getting the double dip early and often now because, your Miami Heat, your favorite little basketball team, they have now won 6 in a row. Your Florida Panthers, your favorite little hockey team, they have now won 5 in a row. So yes, when they play on the same night, you get a double dip, you get a double dip, you get a double dip. And both teams are rolling now. Both of them after slow starts to the season. Panthers started 0-2. What do you know now? 10-4-1. 5 wins in a row. The Heat started 1-4. What do you know? 7-4 now. 6 wins in a row. So I feel great about both my favorite teams. We're going to talk to Trysta Krick. I love talking to Trysta Krick. She's one of my favorites. I think she's becoming a major star in the sports media world. I know you guys you hate her because she was on the Portland Trailblazers side of things when it comes to Damian Lillard. Look, she grew up in Portland. She grew up Blazer fan. And the Heat Twitter was all kinds of angry with Trysta Krick. Trysta Krick, BetMGM every night on Odyssey, and the Heat Check with Trysta Krick, which is one of my favorite podcasts. I'm a regular listener. She's a friend of mine. I'm looking forward to having Trysta on the show once again. We'll ask her how she feels about the Heat Twitter hating her. It's funny though. You guys, I feel like if you're a longtime listener of me, excuse me, you kind of know, I'm a decent dude, all right? And I'm only friends or friendly with other decent people. I mean, there are people who I've worked with or been around and they fucking suck. And you got to cut them out. But I'm friends with decent people. Guess who I have on the show multiple times are obviously people who I'm very friendly with and are good people. Trysta's one of them who were the Heat Twitter hates Trysta Krick. She's awesome. That's why we're having her on the show. And there are others too, like Justin Termini from SiriusXM NBA Radio, where huge Heat hater. He kind of hates the Heat a little bit, but he's a good dude, and that's why we have on the show. Frank Isola is another one of them. One of my favorites. You guys think he hates the Heat? Not true. Look, if you're a longtime listener of ZASLOW Show, ZASLOW Show 2.0, whatever iteration of ZASLOW Show has been your favorite. ZASLOW and Joy, ZASLOW and Amber, ZASLOW Roms and Amber. There's so many different. whichever version of your show is the favorite. You know I'm a decent too, so I'm not having people on the show that suck, all right? And Trysta's great. We'll ask her, though, how she feels about Heat Twitter hating her. We'll ask her. We'll get some thoughts on the Heat right now from her. We'll talk about, we'll ask her about Lillard. He has not been very good. We'll talk about we'll ask her about Damian Lillard. He's not off to a good start there in Milwaukee. So we'll get to some fun stuff with Trysta. Also, very excited. One of our favorite comedians, Brad Williams, is back on the show today. That's right. Brad is back here this weekend, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the Dania Improv. So Brad is going to stop by on the show today. I love having comedians on the show. If you have not seen Brad Williams, this will be my third time. My wife and I, we're going on Friday. Early show. You know how I roll. This will be the third time we've seen Brad. It's hysterical. One of the best shows I've ever been to. So Brad Williams is going to stop by the show. So we got a great show planned today. But let's start things off with your Florida Panthers, all right? Let's go over the win from last night. So the Heat game ended. Heat game ended at like 9:30. And I can't believe, I turn to my wife, I go, I got to stay up. I was already in bed watching the finish of the Heat game. Like, I got to kill another hour before this Panther game. So I managed to. I watched Monday Night Raw. I hadn't watched my stories from the night before. So I was able to kill an hour watching my stories and watching Monday Night Raw. And then the Panthers get going. They're at the Sharks. It was a ESPN Plus Hulu only game. And if I could tell you, I really enjoyed their broadcast. Look, they're not Goldie and Ramsey Moeller, but Butcher Gross, I forget who the lady was that was with him. I liked Butcher Gross on the call. I thought it was a good broadcast. Sharks are terrible. Panthers get ahead 1-0, then they get ahead 2-1. They're up 2-1 after the second period. I didn't have it in me anymore. I had to go to sleep. I was too tired. It was midnight. That's my bedtime, midnight. I was too tired. And the worst part was, I was like, all right, you know what? I'll just hit record. I'll wake up tomorrow morning and I'll watch the end of the game. But here's the problem with the way some live sports are broadcast now these days. When the game is on an app, like last night, ESPN Plus, Hulu, there's no record. I couldn't record the rest of the game. So I was like, damn, I'm just straight up not going to see the third period. But I had to go to sleep. I was falling asleep. So I wake up. Panthers are up 2-1. The Sharks go ahead 3-2. I'm almost glad I didn't see. I've been so pissed. The Sharks are terrible. The Sharks go up 3-2. And then with about 12 minutes left in the game, Carter Verhaeghe ties it.
Tape to Ekman Larson. Quick shot by Verhaeghe. Big save by Blackwood. Verhaeghe again. Kachuk. Verhaeghe. Score! His 100th of his career. Ties the game at 3.
There you go. So the Panthers, they tie the game. And just a little more than a minute later, they reclaim the lead.
Take the lead, but now we're tied. Shot, score! Tommy Stenlund. Redirection. Kevin Stenlund in front. And we are 4-3 Panthers now.
Kevin Stenlund, Butcher Gross. Kevin Stenlund, who's done a nice job centering that fourth line. So the Panthers take the lead, and then with a little more than 2 minutes left, you get the empty net goal from Sasha Barkov.
DeGren hopped over his stick. Tough break. And Reinhart can clear, and Barkov will ice the game. Empty netter. 2-goal lead with 2:13 to go. It's Barkov.
Hates empty net goals. He just kind of flicked it into the net. He was all by himself. If there was someone there with him, he definitely would have handed off. No celebrating. Barkov hates empty net goals. He thinks they're beneath him. And so the Panthers, they hang on. They win 5-3. It's their 5th consecutive win now. 10-4-1 overall. 2nd in the Atlantic. Next up for them, they're at the LA Kings on Thursday. So great start to this trip for your favorite little hockey team. And then you have the Heat who played earlier. And I told you, we'll also ask Trysta about the in-season tournament. So last night is the in-season tournament. 2nd game of the in-season tournament for the Heat. And I'll tell you why this is important, that they're now 2-0. The Heat win last night, 111-105 at Charlotte. They were trailing 25-9 early on. It's like, all right, they're going to be fine. This Charlotte team is not good. It'll help when they get that woman beater, Miles Bridges, back in the lineup. I think he returns to them on Friday. LaMelo Ball, to me, is a confusing player. Or maybe he's not. I don't think LaMelo Ball is a winning player. Too many shots, Too many bad shots. That team is obviously not good, but here's the thing. It's like, oh, he doesn't have anything around him. They selected him number 3 overall. When you're selecting a player number 3 overall, he's supposed to be a franchise guy. He's supposed to be a guy who's going to be a major part in turning around your franchise. So, they got to get LaMelo Ball help. LaMelo Ball is the help. And he plays a style that it could be fun for the viewer. I don't think he's a winning player. And he was not good last night. But the Heat were very good after the first quarter. Jimmy Butler, see, in-season tournament, players are trying harder. Jimmy was trying. 32 points, 10 of 14 from the floor, 11 of 14 from the free throw line. Bam, 21 points, 11 rebounds. And here I told you, so Bam is continuing his dominance. But going into the game, this team's got some juice to it now where Jaquez, Robinson, Richardson, you got guys like, all right, I like what these supporting players are doing right now. Jaquez, 17 points off the bench. For the 4th consecutive game, Jaime Jaquez Jr. has played the entire 4th quarter. You think coach trusts him? And here's the thing. Why is Nikola Jovic not playing? Clearly, the coach does not think he's ready. Does not think he can help the team. When Jaime Jaquez Jr., a rookie, is playing for the 4th consecutive game, all wins, every minute of the 4th quarter, on a team that's trying to win a championship right now, and Jovic can't get any run? Yeah, it's because the coach doesn't think he can help the team. I mean, that one's pretty obvious. But Jaime Jaquez, the Heat hit on that one. He's a player. He is a winning player. Such a Heat guy. I love what... Jaime Jaquez Jr., that's my dog. I love watching him. So, you're excited about what you're seeing out of the Heat. Rookie last night. Duncan Robinson. Listen to this line. 18 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 of 10 from 3. Duncan looks fantastic. They don't need to trade Duncan. Oh, we trade Duncan. We need Duncan. He has absolutely opened up his game. He is a much improved player. And now, this tournament's got some juice to it. Because next up for the Heat is this Thursday. They're back at home against Brooklyn. And next week, they're at New York for their tournament game. If you win that game, then you're 3-0. And you could wind up advancing as a wild card, or maybe even win your group with 1 loss. If you go undefeated, you're definitely moving on. If the Heat can win in New York next week, and then you get to the final game of match play at home against Milwaukee, that game is exciting as hell because then you got a chance to go to Vegas. You win that game, you're definitely in the quarterfinals. You'll be the home team in the quarterfinals. And if you win that quarterfinal game at home, then you go to Vegas for the Final Four. So I'm kind of into the in-season tournament. I like it. I think it's a success so far. But here's a big problem. Now, today, last night, instead of talking about the in-season tournament and everything that's going on there, you had a brawl. You had a fight in San Francisco. Before I tell you about that, let me tell you about Sheets and Giggles. I love having Sheets and Giggles on ZASLOW Show 2.0. When Sheets and Giggles joined the show like 6-7 months ago, you saw Sheets and Giggles on the Levitard Show. You saw them on the Greg Cody Show podcast featuring Greg Cody. It's like, whoa, Sheets and Giggles. I love Sheets and Giggles. And now they're on ZASLOW Show 2.0. That's how you knew we were getting big time, all right? SheetsGiggles.com. You'll get the softest, coolest, most breathable sheets of your life. And just like the ZASLOW family, you're not going to have to search anywhere else for your bed sheets. You're going to become one of over 100,000 Americans who are sleeping on Sheets and Giggles and never turning back. Have you ever slept on a eucalyptus mattress? Yeah, the only place you're getting it, and environmentally friendly, SheetsGiggles.com. They got the annual fall sale going on right now, but if you use promo code ZASLOW, Z-A-S-L-O-W, use promo code ZASLOW at SheetsGiggles.com, 20% off your first order. So use promo code ZASLOW at SheetsGiggles.com for your first order, and then go crazy. Then get wild. Get the softest, coolest, most breathable sheets you're ever going to have. SheetsGiggles.com. So, last night, you got the Wolves and the Warriors. They're playing the second game in a row. It's an in-season tournament game, this one. And there must be a little bit of animosity from the previous game. Which, by the way, Chris Paul very dirty play on Mike Conley that game a few nights ago where he dove at Conley's legs. Look, Chris Paul is a dirty player, all right? And there's some carryover. I don't know if that specific incident, but 2 minutes into the game, there's not even score. Jaden McDaniels, Klay Thompson, they get tangled up. They're pulling each other's jerseys. They're ripping jerseys at center court. And then, as the players all convene and try and separate, Draymond Green runs in and almost as if, yes, I've been waiting for this opportunity, I'm putting Rudy Gobert in a headlock. Now, everyone dislikes Rudy Gobert. He's a very unlikable player. But he immediately goes for Gobert, puts him in a headlock, pulls him, he's choking him out. Draymond, he doesn't let go. He's dragging him by his head. He's yelling at him in his ear. Draymond Green is not stable. He is out of control. He gets thrown out. McDaniels and Thompson predictably get thrown out. Draymond Green, for the second consecutive game now, has been thrown out. Rudy Gobert after the game, great quote, saying he knew Draymond was going to get thrown out of the game because whenever Steph Curry doesn't play, Steph Curry's knees bothered him, so he didn't play. Whenever Steph doesn't play, Draymond doesn't want to play either. He always tries to get ejected. That's a great quote. But Draymond Green is a maniac. Like, when is enough with this guy? This is not a stable individual. He's going to be suspended. My first thought would be he should get 5 games. I don't believe it'll be 5 games. I think he's going to get 3. I don't think McDaniels or Thompson get suspended. Draymond definitely gets suspended. It should be at least 3 games. He is not a stable individual. And then you have the Warriors who love complaining about the injustices against them. The Warriors are not a likable team anymore. Steph Curry, very likable. The Warriors are not, even Klay Thompson is not that likable anymore. Like, Klay Thompson's attitude over the last couple years is, since the injury really, has changed. And Draymond Green is as tough to take as anyone. And now, so here's from NBC Sports Bay Area. Here's the call of the fight. The biggest story in the fight is Draymond Green and Rudy Gobert. These guys, the Warriors broadcast, they don't even mention what Draymond Green is doing. My God.
3. And so we're scoreless. We'll stay 0-0 the first 2 minutes. And then look at Klay Thompson and McDaniels. What is going on with that? Wow. You've got a full-on fracas going on. Draymond came in to defend Klay. This got out of hand very quickly.
Look at Klay Thompson's jersey. It's ripped up. That's more than a scuffle.
We're going to have to go to replay and look at all of this, but Klay Thompson's never been involved in anything like that. What was Jaden McDaniels doing?
They were going at each other's head.
Not even mentioning Draymond. It's ridiculous. Like, be fair. Obviously, you're the Warriors broadcast team. Be fair. And then, after the game, I get Steve Kerr. He's going to defend his players. But give this a listen here, because Steve Kerr is telling you that Rudy Gobert grabbed Klay Thompson around the neck. Rudy Gobert, I don't like Rudy Gobert. Nobody likes him. Rudy Gobert clearly went in there as a peacemaker. And Steve Kerr is going to try and sell you on something that happened, which we all have video showing that's not what happened at all.
Kind of game there from the start. Just the initial sequence, did you see it? And what did you think of the whole resolution of it?
There's no way Klay Thompson should have been thrown out of the game. I mean, he's running up the floor, and the guy grabs his jersey, and he's pulling on him, and so Klay pulls back, and no way Klay should have been ejected. That was ridiculous. So I was upset about that. And then the Draymond piece of it, if you watch the replay, Rudy had his hands on Klay's neck, and that's why Draymond went after Rudy, and I saw one replay right after it happened. The guys on the back of the bench were telling us that Rudy had Draymond or had Klay, and that's why Draymond went at Rudy. So that's all I know. But it was, a bizarre way to start the game a minute and a half in.
Steve Kerr should be embarrassed. Number one, your guy's out of control, and number two, trying to say Gobert grabbed Klay Thompson around the neck when he did not, and he is clearly trying to break it up and be a peacemaker. anything other than saying Draymond has Rudy Gobert in a chokehold. We don't understand why he won't let go, and he's dragging him across the court because he is a maniac. You're off base if you say anything other than that. So that's the big story from the NBA last night. Obviously, we'll talk to Trysta about it. But I'm into the in-season tournament. Clearly, Warriors and Wolves, they're very into the in-season tournament too. 2 minutes in, they couldn't wait. Well, we got to resort to the street stuff. But the Heat win last night. The Panthers win last night. I'm very, very happy with our favorite teams right about now.